Hey, welcome back to A-Aron Reacts, and I'm super excited to be doing a member request from aaronreacts.com. More information about that membership in the description. That said, we're doing Every Time We Say Goodbye, Angelina Jordan at age 10. Now, this was aired on TV2 Norway in the summer of 2016. And, they said after this performance, the family went to the US on vacation and moved permanently 2 years later. So the song Every Time We Say Goodbye, I think, is a little bit of a homage to her journey. So yeah, let's dive in. But before we do, I want to talk a little bit about this song because I think it's important for this one specifically. And you'll see that and hear that, right? This was composed, both the music and the lyrics by Cole Porter in 1944. Now I do have a little bit of notes, so you see me, kind of reading a little bit here just to make sure I got this. But I think it's kind of important because most people don't know unless you're in jazz, right? Cole Porter is, and he actually wrote over 300 songs, attended Yale University, later Harvard, and then switched to Harvard School of Music. And he had a wealthy upbringing. He traveled the world. He spent a good amount of time in Paris, and I think that was, greatly influenced into his songs and his writing. He's known for, kind of this blend of witty, urbane lyrics with memorable melodies. And, it often features, clever rhymes, double entendres, humor and things to that effect. And also known for, complex harmonies and versatility. Now, this song, Every Time We Say Goodbye, is one of those that kind of exhibits a lot of Cole's brilliance. And as a result, it's been performed by many legends: Ella Fitzgerald, Sarah Vaughan, to name a few. Obviously, later Angelina Jordan. We see John Coltrane performed, a more instrumental version of that, where he, really had some fun with the complexities and harmonies. And so, one thing that's really neat from this, though, is it does, follow a typical kind of jazz standard AABA form of the progression, which if you don't follow, that's okay. It's just kind of standard. But the lyrics, are talking about saying goodbye, obviously, every time we say goodbye. And then they talk about like the switch from major to minor, and he really plays with it because not only he metaphorically talking about the switch from major to minor musically, which if you followed some of my stuff before, and I provided some examples, I'll see if maybe I can reference those. We can include those here. But in a major, it's generally more happy, uplifting, and so forth, and minor is more sad and melancholic and so forth. So here the lyrics say the switch from major to minor, while the song also switches from major to minor, and it's really cool and again kind of witty like Cole Porter is. So without further ado, let's dive right in. This is Every Time We Say Goodbye, age 10, Angelina Jordan.
Jordan står bak oss. Verden ligger for denne tiåringens føtter. Heldigvis så kom hun innom oss før avreisen til USA.
Og vi venter oss gåsehud, for vi har hørt prøvene. Bare nyt dette, og nyt også mandagskvelden.
Ha det bra.
You immediately hear the wind.
Every time we say goodbye, I die a little. Every time we say goodbye, I wonder why you little. Why the goods above me, who must be in the know? Think so little of me, they allow you to go. When you're near, there's such an air of spring about it. I can hear a lark somewhere begin to sing about crowded. There's no love song finer, but how strange the change from major to minor every time we say goodbye.
Okay, I think this is a great place to pause it. So, um, many of you have talked so much about how you just love this age 10 Angelina, and there's no doubt that she is fantastic here. Um, okay, so I think, and this is a song I don't know that well. I mean, really, I know it, but I don't know it tremendously well. And so I think though, and it's not at all surprising if that's the case, that she's most closely, studied in terms of this Ella, because and I was careful with my word choices there because yes, she's influenced, but you know, this doesn't sound like any version I've heard of in terms of, the mimicry, if you will, of the other singers. I think it most closely resembles Ella's version. I think the chord changes kind of stay true mostly to the original, the feeling. I mean, this melody is such a simple melody, right? The most of the melody is the same note every time we say goodbye, right? It's the same thing. Now it does change and dance around a little bit, but it's a very, very simple melody. And so it's mandatory for the singer to actually add their own sentiment, to add their own interpretation, to add their own stylistic choices, their own phrasing, right? Their own harmonic choices or replacements, as well as the accompaniment, right? And the arrangement to it all. And, once again, we see just Angelina here she chooses to do that directly with her voice and her singing. And there's some interesting choices here. So uh, I now realize, especially at this age, I still do believe at the early ages of 6, 7, 8, right, where she has some difficulties with some of the pronunciation, and which again, it's not a critique, it's a comment. For those of you that get super analytical and so forth, but are critical of me. But she mispronounces words. She has some struggles with it. And of course, English is not her first language. Although I've later learned, many of you critique the crap out of that, but she went to English school and studied it and so forth. Not that it makes it any easier, but still, I mean, it's just, kind of facts, that we should discuss. But at this point, she's deliberate, she's brilliant with lyrics, and, we've seen examples where she's written her own lyrics, where she's replaced lyrics. She's very clever with it, right? And so there's a lyric in the original that is "Why the gods above me." I think that's correct. And she replaces it with "Why the goods above me." And it's subtle and it almost even sounds like it. You might not even catch it. And I think that that's a choice of hers to why bring religion into this, right? Why potentially cause some kind of turmoil in terms of interpretations or otherwise, even though it's the original song, right? And she's trying to say that the sentiment of the gods is the good. So I think that's a choice of hers that, is quite brilliant. It doesn't grammatically make the most sense, but it's a song and it really doesn't matter. And I think it's a deliberate choice. So yeah, it's pretty awesome. I think that she's slower than the original, and I think, closer to the Ella version. It might slightly be slower than the Ella version, but I haven't heard the Ella version for a little bit, so I'm not sure, but I think it's about the same. But yeah, she just sounds so beautiful, so much control of her voice. And you heard me go psh a couple times because when she gets into that lower register, she just has so much resonance, such a full sound. She sounds so beautiful. And, more importantly to me, she just looks like she's more comfortable there. And I've talked about how she's expanding her range as she grows older. And I think that we're going to see more and more of that. I'm going to be seeing her in just a couple weeks now when I make this video. and live for the first time, and I'm super excited because there's bound to be some surprises. They've even announced there's going to be some surprises or some good stuff. So, not quite sure what that is, new song releases or what, but either way, um, I think she's going to continue expanding that range. And this is certainly not a song where we see a big range in the song, period. It just doesn't really call for it. It's just a sentimental song with a good sound and simplistic delivery here with just the guitar and her. I love everything about the choices, her singing. I mean, everything's just fantastic. Just pure raw, great sound. And you know what's hilarious is, you know, and some of you are included in this, by the way. Um, I do not understand, such diehard fans. I mean, I get it, like some of you have said, that's me and so forth, and that's okay. I don't have a problem with it. I just can't comprehend it myself, right? And so a lot of people are such diehard fans and loyal to a specific follower that they can't open their eyes and ears to others. And I don't quite understand that. And there became this little bit of a debate in a Lucy Thomas video that I posted, and several of the Angelina fans, some of you perhaps, jumped in there to that. And some of the diehard Lucy fans, it was the At Last performance, talked about how they can't see and understand Angelina, and she's such a knockoff to Amy Winehouse and all this and that. And what they love about Lucy Thomas was her pure kind of clean sound. And I've even talked about Lucy's pure clear sound. And to be clear, I think Lucy's fantastic. I'm not going to play sides here though, right? That said, this is an example. This song is an example of just such a cure, pure, clean, the mixing of those, pure, clean tone, right? She just sounds fantastic. Let's get back to it.
When you're near, there's such an air
Look at that little
of
smile.
spring about it. I can hear a lark somewhere begin to sing about it. There's no love song finer.
So listen to the lyrics with the change of music.
But how strange the change from major to minor. Every time we say
There we are again. Just the amount of control there on that ending too. Just sustained very low volume, and that's one of the most difficult things to do is just sustain at a low volume, right? Just beautiful sustained tone with the just classic Angelina-esque vibrato.
From major to minor. Every time we say goodbye.
Wow. Just gorgeous. So, yeah, I mean, so many of you I know are big fans of Angelina at the age of 10, right? Like, that's some of your favorite years. And I could definitely see why. I mean, everything I've listened to her so far, which isn't a ton, at the age of 10 is fantastic. So thank you much. Look, we are looking to do, I still have to logistically arrange it, but timing-wise, in terms of my, total count of reactions and timing of it, I'm going to be pretty close, and I'm pretty sure I can time it, where my 100th reaction to Angelina Jordan, specifically, is going to fall in the ability to record it live during the concert coming up in Glendale, California. And by the way, there are still tickets, right? At the time I'm making this anyway. So go ahead and get them and hope to see you there. And we're going to have some gatherings and so forth. That said, I think the timing of it works out where I can do my 100th kind of tribute to Angels, really, as my 100th Angelina Jordan reaction, live reaction with folks that are there in person. And again, I got to logistically figure that out, but we will, I think. And I think that's going to occur Friday morning, late morning. I'm thinking 10 a.m. And that's on September 20th. And so, yeah, that will be the full reaction to her EP, Old Enough. And so, I'm assuming that's gonna take a full like 2 hours. And that's me not talking like I normally do because it's a full album, right? And so yeah, definitely looking forward to that, and hopefully you can join. I think I probably won't try to make that remote because there's going to be enough people in person, and logistically it'll just make it so much more difficult and so on. I think the audio quality is probably already going to suffer some in terms of where we do. I mean, we'll see how I can arrange it, but it may end up being a little bit outside, and we'll make it work. I mean, we'll make it work. All right. But again, thank you. If you haven't yet subscribed to this channel, please go ahead and do so now. We will see you in the next one.